President Marcos calls Congress back for a special session on June 17 to push for urgent bills and key appointments. But with the Senate still split, all eyes are on one senator, Joel Villanueva, who is rumored to be the one to break the deadlock. From a battle for numbers to a war over symbolism, a group slams embattled Senator Alan Peter Cayetano for using the iconic Laban sign and referencing the legacy of the late Ninoy Aquino. And as the political steam rises, the press finds itself in the line of fire amid accusations of being, quote, paid hacks. Veteran journalist John Neri weighs in on press freedom and accountability. Good evening, you're watching Political Beat. I'm Lourdes de Vera. President Marcos Jr. has called for a special session in Congress on Wednesday, June 17. And amid ongoing Senate tensions, could this move resolve the leadership deadlock? Let's bring in our mobile journalist, Merimon Reyes. Merimon, what can we expect from the special session on June 17?
Well, this Wednesday, what we are anticipating is the supposed fast tracking of pending legislations or other matters that require immediate attention, especially when it comes to delivering assistance or financial or other means of relief or recovery of those affected of the earthquake in Mindanao. Lalo sa mga nitong araw din, may ilang bahagi din sa Mindanao na nagparamdam ulit o nayanig na naman ng lindol. Pero ang isang inaabangan din natin come Wednesday would be if there's this possibility na masisement na talaga or masesecure na talaga ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian yung kanyang posisyon bilang Senate President. Kasi for the meantime, he's still just the acting presiding officer or acting SP. Siya pa rin ay Senate President pro tempore. Meanwhile, itong mga lumipas na linggo, lumulutang yung pangalan ni Senator Joel Villanueva as the possible senator who will be completing the at least 13 senators to form the decisive majority. Pero so far, ang sabi ni Senator Joel Villanueva, kung sakali magpapatawag ng special session, attend siya and time out daw muna sa mga bangayan sa politiko. This is more on doing performing his duties and his mandates according to the Constitution. Ang sabi naman ni Senator Erwin Tulfo kanina umaga via a phone call, may commitment nga from Senator Joel who will be attending the special session na pinapatawag na ngayong Wednesday. Pero so far, walang commitments na pag-over the bakod papunta sa Gatchalian-led bloc. Lourdes.
Did Senator Tulfo also mention the possible composition of the Commission on Appointments?
Yes, Lourdes, that's part of the agenda for Wednesday. Sa umaga, 9 a.m. magsisimula yung special session and nag-confer na raw dito ang House of Representatives according to Majority Leader Senator Mig Zubiri. So far sa hapon daw, dito makikita yung reorganizing ng commission on appointments plus yung hinihintay na confirmation ng promotion ng ilang magre-retire na uniformed men plus yung mga opisyal pa sa cabinet. Kaya jam-packed ang Wednesday talaga. Though so far, ang nakalagay pa lang doon sa pagpapatawag ng Pangulo, this June 17 lang gagawin ang special session. But under the 1987 Constitution, at any time, at any given moment, maaari namang magpatawag pa ng special session ang Pangulo. Lourdes.
All right. And the possibility of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian being formally installed as Senate President, what are the chances, Merimon?
That would still depend talaga kung magtutuloy ito pag-over the bakod. Presumably, kasi sabi ni Senator Erwin Tulfo, though hindi niya raw alam kung matutuloy na ba itong sinasabing may lilipat bakod na 1 or 2 senators, pero may nakausap daw sila na isang babae at isang lalaki. So, kung sakali man na ito ay magiging formal na, they are hoping na by tomorrow or hopefully tomorrow makuha na nila yung numbers na at least 13 senators to form the decisive majority, maipapwesto na talaga nila as Senate President si Senator Gatchalian. Pero until then, until ma-confirm talaga at magtaas na ng kamay bilang boto dito kay Gatchalian itong bubuo ng decisive majority, doon lang natin makikita kung magiging SP na ba talaga si Senator Gatchalian. Pero so far, on the part of Senator Joel, may commitment to attend the special session pero no commitments yet na mag-over the bakod. As for the 2 senators pa na nakausap na raw, so far wala pang confirmation kung lilipat na rin ba sila o mag-over the bakod.
Alright. Pero at the same time, kiniklaim din ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano na nagkausap na rin daw sila formally o ng masinsinan din nitong si Joel Villanueva. Ano kaya ang ibig sabihin noon pag sinabing usapang masinsinan? At ano kaya itong very cryptic na tweet ni Senator Ping Lacson about Delulo pa more becomes Delulo no more? Hopefully, yun.
Lord, ang nasabi niya, nitong weekend kasi si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano in a Facebook live stream, nabanggit niya na nagkaroon sila ng heart-to-heart talk or conversation ni Senator Joel Villanueva. However, walang dinivulge masyadong details, pwera na lamang sa napag-usapan itong accusations na binabato sa senador. And yun nga yung over the weekend, lumulutang din yung pangalan niya nga as the probable senator who will be jumping over the fence para sumama sa Gatchalian-led bloc. Pero again, so far, on the end of Senator Joel, pupunta siya ng special session pero walang sinasabing mag-over the bakod na siya o aanib na sa new majority. And ang sabi naman ni Senator Ping Lacson kaninang umaga in a post sa X, kasi yan yung pagkatapos i-anunsyo na ng palasyo na may proclamation na nga na magpapatawag ng special session. Ang sabi ni Senator Ping, hopefully sa pamamagitan nga nitong special session na ipinapatawag, yung Delulo pa more ay maging Delulo no more. So this, though walang name na binanggit, walang minimension, pero sa mga lumipas kasi na linggo, even before yung June 3 na session, nandoon yung pagki-question o pag-aabang kung may magagawa bang sesyon o maaari bang magpatawag ng sesyon kung kulang-kulang ang numero ng mga senador. And so far, the new majority using a ruling from the Supreme Court, they did convene a session last June 3 at doon nagkaroon ng pagpapalit ng liderato. So sa Wednesday, yan naman yung sinasabi ni Senator Ping na yung Delulo pa more, hopefully maging Delulo no more kasi may special session na rin na magaganap.
Tuloy pa rin ba yung pre-trial conference na nakaschedule on June 18, Marymon?
So far, Lord, yes. Ang sabi kanina ni Senate Secretary Attorney Ray Bantug, they are still working sa calendar na last approved by the senators. So yung impeachment proceeding ngayon, yung naging deadline kasi ng submission ng pre-trial briefs from both the prosecution panel and the defense camp of Vice President Sara Duterte. And so far, nakita natin pareho. Attorney Michael Powa, legal counsel ni VP Sara, dumating kanina, nagpadala na or nag-submit na ng around 60 pages ng kanilang pre-trial briefs. Si House Secretary General Cheloy Garfield dumating din kanina, nagpadala na rin ng over 29 copies or nearly 30 copies ng kanilang pre-trial briefs. So by Thursday, magkakaroon na ng pre-trial conference.
So mukhang all systems go na sa Thursday. Alright, Marymon, just quick run through ng mga bills na may kinalaman kamo sa health that they need to address kamo?
Yung sa geriatric center kasama rin yan, kabilang na rin yung, actually iba pang sa nais silang maisalang agad is yung pagpapadala rin ng relief ng assistance, be it financial or kung ano pang kakailanganin for the recovery and relief ng mga quake affected victims sa Mindanao. Plus sa Philippine Geriatric Center, ito yung mga specialization centers para sa nakatatanda, sa senior citizens o kakailanganin pa ng ibang klaseng medical attention. Plus yung anti-political dynasty bill, parte rin yan sa nabanggit doon sa proclamation na nais maisalang. And ito rin yung sinasabi ni Senator Joel Villanueva, maging ng mga senators from the majority na kaya importante rin na mai-address na ito dahil oras ang kalaban nila. So for this to keep on rolling, for the ball to keep on rolling, gagamitin daw nila ang special session ng walang delay, pupunta sila at walang drama. So yan ang aabangan natin by Wednesday, Lord.
So pag pumasok sa hall si Senator Villanueva at parang kay Chis Escudero noon pag nagkaya ka pa, pisila ng mga balikat, alam na kung anong mangyayari. Parang ganun ba yun, Marymon? Or abangan pa rin ang susunod na kabanata?
Mukhang aabangan muna natin kasi mahirap magsabi sa ngayon pero ang malinaw, it may be for his attendance. Ang commitment kasi ni Senator Joel, pag nagpatawag ng special session, a-attend siya. And ang sabi naman ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan, kung sakali man na hindi pumunta ang ibang mga senador from the minority bloc led by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, wala naman daw problema or issue doon. Kasi so far, yung new majority bloc, they're composed of 12 senators na considered na as a quorum. So to add Senator Joel's attendance, all the more na maaring makapag-convene yung Senado into plenary, into their special session come Wednesday. So ang nasabi nga lang dito ng majority bloc senators, yun nga lang, ready pa rin sila sa kung anong pwedeng mangyari at anong pwedeng gawin ng minority bloc. That includes yung pagko-contest sa kung sino ang magpe-preside ng special session dito sa Senado, even yung Senate mace or yung seal, even yung Senate gavel na ginagamit sa pagpapatawag, pag-adjourn or pagsususpend ng session, lahat ng mga yan, ready naman na raw ang majority bloc sa kung ano ang pwedeng mangyari. Lord.
Alam, may nangyari dati, Marymon, post-ed sa Senate, nagkataguan. Panahon yan, napapalitan na si Senator Joey Salonga ni Neptali Gonzales. So parang, hindi mo na inabot yung Benny Hill show, ano? Pero parang ganun ang, parang naging sitcom na pina-fast forward mo, nagkataguan ng maze, nagkapigilan ng mga taong a-attend. So, abangan natin kung anong susunod na mangyayari. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Marymon Reyes, our mobile journalist in the Senate. Thank you, Marymon. All right, more developments ahead after the break. This is still Political Beat. All right, we're back. This is still Political Beat. Regarding the Senate drama, are we covering it right? Are we asking the right questions? Are we featuring the wrong sound bites? And what does it mean when a lawmaker accuses mainstream media of, well, bayarang media? What are the effects? And how do you counter that with factual information? Same time, how do you counter the trolls? This and many more questions we'll be discussing with the veteran journalist, columnist, and of course, teacher of media and politics at the Ateneo, Sir John Nery. Sir, maraming salamat po.
Good evening, Lord.
All right. From the public square sa maliit na table. All right. Sir, una sa lahat, ang reaction niyo po doon sa remark last week ni Senador Marcoleta about paid hacks ang bayarang media.
Okay, babalikan ko yan pero I want to start by saying na in terms of the Senate, we are looking at a historic low in terms of public reputation. No? Meron ng mga power grabs noon, pero never yung eruption of gunfire. Not even when it was closed during martial law. No? So medyo nakakagulat talaga. So yun ang una kong sabihin. Pangalawa, the great journalist, Vergel Santos, made a distinction between two kinds of stories. Sabi niya, may visual story at saka may verbal story. Yung visual story, may aksidente, may suntukan, nakikita mo. Yung verbal story, yun yung mga lumalabas sa korte. No? It's all on paper. Now, the Senate, traditionally, is a verbal story venue. No? Yung mga pinag-usapan nyo kanina ni Marymon, no? Yung laman ng health bill and so on.
In short, hindi sexy.
Pwede namang gawing sexy yun, Pero, usually, ang pinapadala sa Senado, mga senior reporters, marami nang pinagdaanan.
Yes.
Ang point ko dito is, because napagdaanan nila yun, they were actually able to do a terrific job with the visual stories nung May 11 and May 13, lalo na yung May 13, nung biglang nagkaputukan. No? So sina Marymon, sina Mayan, Los Baños, nakita mo talagang sinusundan nila. No? So instincts kicked in, of course, also professional experience. So ang gusto ko sabihin dito is, in that particular point in time, swinerte tayo na we had senior reporters, experienced reporters, covering the Senate. Alam nila yung the verbal stories, pero na-cover din nila yung the visual part. So yun. Ang hirap gawin nung ginawa nila, and to hear Senator Marcoleta accuse them of being paid hacks, kahit ako hindi naman ako nag-cover ng Senate, kahit sino naman sigurong journalist, sasamahan loob mo, parang bakit mo naman sinasabi yun? Ano? They were just doing their jobs. And the thing is, they were on camera, makikita mo naman talaga, di ba? So sa tingin ko, yung kay Marcoleta, to use one of their favorite words, bias. Okay? Hindi niya nakita, yung gusto niyang makita sana, binalikan niya yung mga periodista, yung mga reporters, and hindi niyo kami kino-cover, siguro bayaran kayo. Of course, it's important to note that he apologized later. No? So parang bugso lang ng niya. Pero,
Wala lang hopya, kinulang lang sa hopya.
kinulang sa hopya. Pero, yun, sa tingin ko, meron siyang idea na dapat ito lumabas sa TV, ito dapat lumabas sa dyaryo. Nung hindi lumabas, sabi niya, nabayaran to. That is a person who does not understand how journalism works.
Parang yung editorial part, hindi niya saklaw yun. No? O baka nasanay kasi siya na may isang outlet na nandun palagi yung pangalan niya. Pero yung sa tingin mo, Sir John, traditionally the Senate ka mo ay yung verbal. Pero maraming nagsasabi na, at basing din sa language or sa tone na ginagamit ng ilan sa mga bagong members ng Senado, mukhang yung stentorian, yung mga oratory style ay babalik, pero iba, hindi na yung sa paraan alam natin. Kumbaga mas pang soundbite sa radyo, TV at sa pelikula. Hindi siguro yung... Pero what does it mean pag sinasabi nila na, the Senate of before, parang when they say, give off names, hindi... Baka akala nila, at alam naman natin na, hindi siya isang homogeneous block.
Yeah.
Kumbaga for every tanyada and every, you have, ito na natin banggitin yung mga pangalan nila, baka magalit yung mga yung mga kamag-anak. Pag ganun ba, sir, tama ba ang pagtingin natin na parang may before and after tayong kinukumparahan?
So, it's human nature, no? Isipin natin na the good old days were better than today, di ba? Kung tingnan natin, yung sino bang mga na-elect na senators, no? Mga katulad nila Salonga, na mga top-notcher, Jokno, top-notcher, CPA, top-notcher, mga ganong klase, no? Sina Tanyada. Talagang iba yung ibang klase, no? And then we also assume that lalo na yung mga hindi natin nakikita yung mga speeches nila,
Yes.
no? Na iba sila magsalita, no? Now, I think there are some senators now who are able to communicate to the public of today, no? Nag-iba na rin kasi yung publiko, no? So baka siguro ng mga panahon nila Mang Lapus, alam mo, naabutan ko pa yan si Mang Lapus, nagsalita sa Cagayan de Oro after EDSA. Sabi ko, as they say in Bisaya, lamig kayo, pamati.
Lamig kayo.
No?
Tingog.
I mean, pero
Slam na
alam mo
slam.
talaga na oratory, yung ganung klaseng old style with flourishes and all that, hindi na siguro gagana yan. So kailangan mas conversational, mas may ano, no. Si Erwin Tulfo, nagulat ako kasi he became the spokesperson
Yes.
of the new majority, no? Tapos may mga banat siya. Siguro some of those things I would not recommend that he would say that. Pero ang gusto ko lang sabihin, that kind of eloquence patok ngayon. Parang naiintindihan siya ng mas maraming tao. So, yung ganong klaseng comparison, in terms of oratory, in terms of rhetoric, parang let's give space to today's senators and other lawmakers. Baka may alam naman sila. No? But in terms of substance, yun, again, kailangan pagtuunan ng pansin.
Sa tingin mo ba, sir, dahil yung 24/7 na coverage na dahil sa social media, dahil sa internet, tuloy-tuloy, parang hindi dapat maubusan. Nag-o-over cover na ba tayo sa tingin mo? Kasi dati medyo halimbawa, may mga press conference ng certain politicos na sinasabi na mas mabuti pa palagpasin na lang yan, hindi siya politically consequential, pero may scoop mentality. Pag hindi natin kinover yan, mukha tayong engot. May ganong... Sa news outlet ninyo, sir, anong policy po ninyo?
Well, naalala ko dito yung landmark book ni Daniel Burstein, 1962, The Image. 1962 pa lang, he was already warning us na the nature of the news beast is kailangan mo talagang pakainin. You have to feed it. No? So hindi pa naman round the clock sila noon, but they were already, they already had scheduled several press conferences throughout the day. Parang paulit-ulit lang. No? So I think na umabot na tayo nun sa stage na you have to feed the news beast all the time because he's everywhere. It's everywhere. No? Nasa social media and so on. But at the same time, I think, lumala yung problema kasi yung polarization, no? May hatian na talaga, no? And there are some people who will not listen to what you will say, but they have their own preferred sources, no? So parang yun yung doon sila makikinig. So I think those two things, they have made it harder for politicians to communicate. Politicians have to be, tingnan mo si Ping Lacson, no, dating PNP chief and so on. Ayun, parang
Kailangan may mga
meron
punchline.
siyang mga infographics
Yes.
na nilalabas. Kasi nakikita niya, yan ang pumapatok. Ano? He is able to communicate.
Ang press conferences din ng Malacanang, Sir John, di ba? Hindi na binabasa. May video, may VTR presentation na pinapalabas.
Yeah.
Oo, so talagang compressed visual. Tapos, for any additional details, the floor is open to questions. Parang ganun na lang. Oo.
Nagbabago na talaga yung media landscape. Ano? So in fact now, the politicians don't need to rely on mainstream media. Pwede na sila mismo ang magbigay ng news. No? They can have their own podcast. So meron kang
Yan,
mga...
isa pa yan.
kahit sino lang, magkaroon tayo ng podcast. There's so much information out there made possible by information technology.
Yes.
No? Unfortunately, yung political polarization, no, mas nasa sharpen because now everyone will have their own preferred platforms. Parang ang hirap na parang to have one view. I mean, when was the last time everyone tuned in to almost the same thing? Siguro si Heidi Lynn Diaz when she won her first Olympic gold medal, marami tayo, parang gano'n, no? It's very difficult to replicate that environment na lahat tayo nakatutok. Ngayon, it's all fragmented.
Wala na yung sinasabi lang, yung juggernaut na isang pelikula, isang episode, kahit sa episode ng mga telenovela na nakatutok yung buong bayan. Parang mga marimar noon, no? Talagang say what you want about it, pero lahat tututok doon. At monolith talaga siya in terms of getting our attention.
There are exceptions.
Yeah.
No?
Pero ngayon, kumbaga may kanya-kanyang mga monoliths na.
Yes.
Oo. Gaano ka-importante na seryosohin yung comment section?
Yung tawag ngayon ComSec. Ano? Noong unang panahon, maybe 10 years ago, yung ComSec ng YouTube, sinasabi natin, wag natin basahin yun. Grabe yung lahat ng bastos na sasabihin nandun. But somehow, YouTube was able to clean up their comment section. Ano? So I'm not giving up all hope on comment sections. No? Kailangan lang may konting, may will na to clean it up. No? So ang problema, yung mga hindi sanay, halimbawa, you're just an ordinary citizen, nag-post ka. No? So ngayon, one of the things that we're all focused on is
Feedback.
the tragedy that happened to the Ateneo basketball team. Ano? So ang dami. No? So maglalabas ka ng yung sinalob mo, pwede kang putaktihin no? And if you don't have a support group, you don't know how to do it, medyo nakaka-overwhelm
Kung
din.
first time mo lang. Oo.
Lalo na kung first time. Minsan kasi may mga nagva-viral na kahit konti lang yung followers.
Yes.
You know, there are certain people who pick up on it and share it, biglang umiikot.
Correct.
No? So yun yung masalimot na talaga yung media ecosystem.
Kasi kung dati, kung sa dyaryo, parang letter to the editor lang yun eh.
Yeah,
Ang nangyayari ngayon, parang yung letters to the editor, na sinapian ni Satanas bigla at biglang mas naging makapangyarihan pa sa'yo at kukuyog, dala nilang mga kaibigan nila at sabay silang kukuyog sa inyo. The scale na talagang hindi natin ma-imagine. Papunta pa lang ba tayo doon? Of course, may evolution pang mangyayari. Ano? Pero posible bang, ang sasabihin naman nila, pag binalik sa dati, parang sinusuko pa rin natin na ulit para may gatekeeping na mangyayari like before. Where ang tinatamasa nitong isang ng sektor sa ating politika ay yung freedom to do that at hindi na lang kayo yung may hawak ng susi. May sense ba yung sinabi ko?
Yeah, so yun yung isang effect no nung rapid changes in information technology no, na yung gatekeeping role ng traditional media, gatekeeping meaning we define ano yung news no, ano ba dapat sundan no, ano ba dapat pag-usapan sa floor ng Senado no, yung agenda setting, gatekeeping function ng news, meron pa rin yan pero hindi na ganon kalawak no. A lot of the news now is defined by other people, by people who are not journalists. A lot of the agenda is set now by other people. In fact, they don't even belong to the political class. No? Hindi sila lawmakers, hindi sila, nasa business, councils and all that. Talagang, nag-iba na yung media ecosystem. No? One way of understanding the change is yung role ng media nag-iba na from gatekeeper to navigator. Yung navigator parang yung sa mga rally cars, ano? May driver, tapos may isang tumitingin sa mapa, kaliwa tayo dyan, may parang gano'n. No? So, ang ibig sabihin nun, hindi na tayo yung, ito news, ito, huwag na kayong pumasok dyan, kami bahala dito. Ngayon, kasama na tayo sa mga citizens, ano? Sa mga gumagamit ng balita, tapos nagna-navigate tayo. I'm not even sure if that's the end point, no? Katulad ng sinabi mo, baka mag-evolve pa. What the new role will be 10 years from now for traditional media, it's hard to say.
Hindi ito yung envision ko noon eh.
Pagpasok mo.
Hindi ko sa social media parang ang galing nito ah. Ang instantaneous pero at the same time with that comes. Nagtuturo ka, sir. Ito baligtad yung tanong ko. Ano yung natutuhan mo sa mga estudyante mo? Pag nagtuturo ka, of course, yung theories mo ay nakabase pa rin doon sa, malamang sa standard na kaisipan. Pero ano ang mga key takeaways mo sa kanila pag nagtuturo ka sa media?
Thank you for asking that question because I had this terrific experience just last month. No? Hindi ko mga estudyante, naimbita lang ako ng isang course to sit in as a panelist. Ano? Tapos, hinimay namin yung mga papers nila, no? Tapos there was this student who said, ang gulo nga, no? Parang hindi mo alam, are they just chasing cloud ganun or is it real information? Sabi niya, that's okay, sabi nung estudyante, no? Because we are the gatekeepers. Sabi nung estudyante, we know how to filter what is the right news, what is that blew my mind. Sabi ko, yun pala yung evolution. No?
We referring to?
We referring to ordinary citizens. Ordinary consumers of the news. Natawan ako doon sa sinabi niya na we are, essentially, ang pagkaintindi ko is, they are now media savvy enough. No?
And they're natives, digital natives.
Digital natives. They are media savvy enough to know, niloloko lang tayo nito eh. No? Yun yung ibig sabihin nila ng, we're the gatekeepers. Alam namin. No? So parang, yun sabi ko, wow, hindi ko naisip yan. Ang gandang, to continue pursuing that line of thought.
I'm sure mas magaling pa sila mag-tell kung AI ba tong video na to o hindi kesa sa atin.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mas
I'm sure.
natural yung mata nila.
Yes.
Naku. Wala pa nga tayo sa topic ng AI, Sir John, eh, no? Pero nako. Have you heard Chai Hopelenia na may kinoment about, kasi yung book niya ang sinite ni Marcoleta as a basis for his assertion.
Okay.
Of course. How valid is the use of the source, or medyo nag-cherry pick lang ba?
Yes. So, hindi naman talaga natin, we cannot deny that there is corruption in media. No? Wala akong alam dun sa yung mga pinaringgan niya sa Senado. I know many of them. They're all doing good work. Wala akong nababalitaan na ano. Pero may mga balita rin, ano. Partly it's yung system, ano. Karamihan mababa yung sweldo, tapos exposed ka sa mga politiko who, you know, always have ready money, parang ganyan. Yung iba naman, ito, nangyari sa akin to. Magtitrain ka ng reporter, ng galing-galing, ano? Tapos may PR, after 1 year, may PR agency, no? Ipapirate. Tapos tatanungin mo, magkano ang sweldo bibigay sa'yo? Times 4. How can you even begin to compete? Diba? I'm not saying that going to PR is an act of corruption. I'm just saying...
Hello, mga nasa PR.
That's part of the reality, no? So, tapos yung libro ni Chai, medyo matagal na yun, eh, no? I'm sure there are more examples to put in there, pero para sa tingin ko, na cherry pick talaga ni Marcoleta. The problem with Marcoleta is that he misunderstands his role as a lawyer and as a senator, eh. No? Ang tingin niya as a senator, he's there to protect certain interests. And his role as a lawyer is to weaponize the law. Kung magsalita siya, parang...
Sure na sure.
Parang yun lang talaga yung... Of course not. No? I mean, you can have different interpretations, parang ganyan, di ba? So, yun lang. So, sa tingin ko, pinili niya yun, and then nabanggit niya just to add credibility.
Pero paano ko, sir, kung akala natin na nasa isang panig na tayo yung tama, pero hindi pala natin alam na mas maraming naniniwala doon sa kanilang panig. Problema ba yun?
Problema ngayon. Pero one thing good about professional journalists is that I think we know that we don't know everything. Okay? Bihira lang yung journalist na ang yabang-yabang. Alam ko yan, ganito, ganyan. No? Karamihan ng mga galing na reporters, katulad nila Manny Mugato, for instance, ang dami nilang alam, pero hindi nila sasabihin, ganito talaga yan. Eh. There's always room for doubt. No? There's always, you have to be skeptical. So, importante yan. No? Na yung ganong klaseng attitude.
Parang napaka-Socratic na.
Hindi naman. I think we all delight in outscooping other people, di ba? In knowing more
Uso
stuff.
pa ba yung scoop ngayon? Sa tingin mo?
Yeah, oo.
Relevant. Kasi parang ngayon, okay, ito yung unang nag-break, pero parang napaka post-war nung scoop idea pa rin. O may nakakaalala pa ba ng mga gano'n? Relevant pa ba siya?
Meron din.
Karera.
And in fact, yung social media as a system mimics that, eh, no? Kasi ang dami sumusulat, breaking news, no? Parang just in. Kahit hindi sila reporter, parang gano'n. Because it still rides on the understanding, no? Maraming tao na, bago to, parang ganyan. Scoop, it's another way of saying.
Elements pa rin ng news.
Elements pa rin ng news, ano? You might be cloud chasing, or it might be 3 hours old, tapos ilalagay mo sa breaking news, nanalo yung New York Knicks. Parang, who is to tell that person, wag mong gawin yan. No? He's not a journalist, he's just doing it on his own. Pero he's borrowing the language of the news.
Tindi. Alright. Sir John, maraming salamat po. Si John Nery, ang professor, veteran columnist, veteran journalist. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alright, more developments ahead here on Political Beat. Don't go. You're still watching Political Beat, a symbol born from the struggle against the Marcos dictatorship is again at the center of a new debate. The August 21 movement, or ATOM, has criticized Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's use of the iconic Laban hand sign amid the ongoing leadership row in the Senate. Joining us now is ATOM President again. Thank you for visiting us in the studio, Volt Bohol.
Yes,
Alright.
anytime, Chief. Thank you very much for the invite again.
So yung laban, sinasabi nila. 1978, April 7. Okay, mataas ang pambansa elections.
Yes.
Ang joke nila, nung April 7, the election day, nanalo ang laban.
Yeah.
Pero the next day, nanalo yung KBL.
Yan.
Oo. Of course, doon galing yan at alam natin na si First Lady ang nakakuha ng maraming votes noon. Sila ni Noy campaigned
Ragtag group yun.
ragtag kasi hindi
yun.
siya pinagbigyan siya sa TV, no?
Yeah, oo.
Ito yung napapanood natin na sila Ronnie Nathaniels.
Kasi plano nilang ano yun eh. Kukornerin nila si Ninoy dun eh. Palalabasin nilang yun, oh. They're going to really, palalabasin nila na guilty si Ninoy sa mga bintang nila.
Tapos, pwede natin ipakita yung Daily Express na
Go.
parang nang-terrorize daw yung mga laban members against KBL volunteers. Ano?
May ganun ah.
Oo. Pero, nung narinig mo itong sinabi ni Senator Cayetano, from a scale of 1 to 10 being talagang sulasok, ano yung rehistro sa inyo, mga taga-atom?
Yun nga yung sabi ko eh. Yung initial natural reaction ko doon, medyo kinilabutan ako. O, medyo natawa na sabi ko, ano ba to? Sabi ko, kasi naalala ko bigla, yung kampo mismo nila, starting 10 years ago, sila yung nagli-lead ng campaign against yung symbols of the people power. The Laban sign, yellow, lalong-lalo na. Yellow revolutionaries na tinatawag namin. Ito yung mga lumaban para pabagsakin si Marcos. And then, alam niyo na, they coined this term na dilawan.
Iyan, anong feeling mo doon sa term na yon?
Well, of course, kasi historically, yung term na dilawan, wala yan nung 80s eh. Ang tawag sa mga yellow revolutionaries, yellow movement, yellow army. In fact, kasama yung atong sa mga kinakategorize dati na yellow army. So, yung dilawan, alam mong derogatory yun. So, pero eventually, habang, nakasanayan na, yung iba talagang in-embrace na nila because sabi nga nila, walang masama. Parang gano'n, ano? Pero alam natin na it was created, it was coined with malice to really bury that legacy nung 1980s. Kasi gusto nila makalimutan na mga tao na ang mga Pilipino, heroic. It symbolizes heroism eh. Yun.
Pero may tono sa boses ni Cayetano noong video na yon na parang calculated niya. Na parang sinasadya
Obviously.
niya. May part pa na parang medyo nag-hesitate pa siya ng konti. Pero parang may ting, tuloy ko to. No, parang alam niya, nang kakanti talaga si Senator Cayetano. Buti nga wala yung Pokemon dyan. Pero nakakalito minsan kasi hindi mo alam kung bago o luma yung video. Kasi yun pa rin yung shirt na suot niya. Sorry
correct.
Kailangan ng markers kasi. Oo. Sabi niya, laban lang. Alam natin na convenience ito kasi... pero po sa tingin mo, kaya niyang makapukaw ulit ng anti-Marcos sentiment?
Malabo.
For the second time.
Malabo. Unang-una, ito na nga, pinapaalala nga namin na sila yung nagsimula ng persecution ng mga yellows, laban, yung lahat. Ninoy Aquino was red tag again. Nabuhay na naman yung ganun kasi there was a time, wala na yun Martial law, of course, laganap yun, yung ganun pabibintang kay Ninoy Aquino. Pero itong ginagawa nila ngayon, parang napansin mo, there's a pattern. Si Robin Padilla, binanggit din yan Yellow naman, dinidikit naman si Presidente Rodrigo Duterte, original yellow.
Oo.
Tatandaan yan, Holy Week
Yung nanay,
ata yun.
yung nanay.
Oo, kasi dahil nga kay Soledad. And previous to that, kung matatandaan natin, last year din, mismong si Vice Presidente, kinukumpara yung tatay niya kay Ninoy Aquino. Baka daw matulad kay Ninoy Aquino. So parang yung kampo nila, merong parang concerted effort. Mukhang napag-usapan Yun ang pakiramdam ko, napag-usapan nila na gano'n, Siguro, dahil they feel na, uy, magandang narrative to. Mahilig sila sa mga dramatics. Gusto nila yung emotional, makaka-penetrate sila sa
May
mga
putok-putok pa ng
pangkaraniwang
baril,
tao.
oo.
Oo, yan, putok-putok pa
Uy,
ng
pakita
baril.
natin yung mga yung mga ibang video. Ito, alam mo, cute ni
Oh,
Chris
diba?
Aquino dito.
Oo, yan.
Ayan.
Sa Aquino Museum, meron
Aquino
yan sa
Museum sa Tarlac
Oo.
at si Nene Pimentel.
Nene Pimentel yung katabi. Diyan nagsimula yung laban symbol.
Yan. Oo. Ang cute pa ng boses si Christian, parang campaigning for the father who was incarcerated.
Correct.
Di ba?
Correct. Tama.
At yung PDP, Pimentel talaga yan, ano?
Yeah.
At yung merging nila ay later on na lang nangyari.
Later on. Diyan hindi pa doon sa picture na yan. Laban pa lang yan.
Ngayon kasi isip na, PDP, yan yung partido ng dating presidente.
How ironic, ano?
Grabe,
How
no?
ironic. Pero,
Kung ako malilito ako, kung bata ako ngayon, malilito rin ako eh.
so, makikita natin na meron silang history of hijacking. Hina-hijack nila yung PDP laban ni Ninoy. Ngayon, ito naman, kinukuha naman nila to. So, siguro lang din, parang pakiramdam nila how romantic it is, no? Na under a Marcos Jr. administration, gagamitin natin to ulit. Baka sakaling yung drama nun mahilig mga Pilipino sa drama minsan Or madalas,
Anong
di ba?
minsan?
Madalas,
Nasa
di
dugo
ba?
natin yun.
Exactly.
Pero may drama rin tong na to, ng gesture na to.
Oo. Ano sa tingin mo?
Ito lang yan, brand siya eh.
Exactly.
At ito yung brand na for the longest, kung may maiisip akong may kapareho ba siya sa ibang bahagi ng kasaysayan ng ibang bansa, it's usually this. And this.
Exactly, ito.
Oo. Si Churchill, ganyan, pabaliktad.
Oo.
Masakit yun.
Correct.
Up.
Ito talagang sa atin to exclusive. Never mo nakita
Tapos,
sa ibang bansa yan.
kapag tinilt mo ng konti, may ibig sabihin.
Yeah.
Pero nabawi na ba sa tingin mo, di ba, for a time, yung ganun, nagamit nila, yung loser. Naka-recover na ba siya from that?
Ako sa tingin ko,
Pambubugbog.
papunta na doon Papunta na doon. Only because sila mismo ina-embrace sila di ba? The fact na sila yung unang mga persecutors ng symbols na yan, niyayakap nila. Medyo kung yung panahon na sirang-sira ang mga Marcos ay napabango at eventually nakatungtong na Malacanang uli, there's no question about these symbols being relevant or being positive again. Alam nila yan.
May
Kaya
ikot
ginagawa na nila. Sinisilmulan na nila. In fact, alam mo, Chief, yung atom na new generation, yan yung isa sa mga feeling namin. Kaya kahit na nung panahon na nagsimula kami ng 23, kami nila Prof. Shaw, alam namin, galit na galit mga tao sa mga dilaw, pero nevertheless, sinagsuot kami ng dilaw. Iikot Cycle Historical cycle.
What goes around comes around.
Yun.
Okay, so iikot, pero sa pag-ikot this time, meron bang kakaiba? At ano bang baka pwede mo lang i-share kung meron bang o kailangan ba at least may naging bahagi ba yung lineage o pamilya ng mga Cayetano doon sa mga nangyari noong 83, 86, 78? Saang bahagi sila ng politika pumanig doon?
Yung father kasi, si Senator Rene, talagang he was part of the Marcos Sr. administration until 1986 yun. Pero alam naman natin, during the post-EDSA, nag-create din siya ng sariling bagong legacy
Brand, oo.
outside of the Marcoses. No? In fact, during the EDSA DOS, kasama siya dun sa Senate
Yes.
block na bumoto to open the envelope.
At isa sa mga umakyat para i-console si Senate President Pimentel.
Diba? So, I mean, he created his own legacy outside of the Marcoses and nakikita mo yung respeto ng tatay sa institusyon. Ito yung hindi natin makita kay Senator Cayetano ngayon. Kaya nga, yung isang interview ko nga kanina, sabi ko, Senator, baka pwedeng isipin mo naman yung legacy ng tatay mo. Nakakaawa nabababoy na nga yung institusyon, pati yung legacy ng tatay. Nadadami, apelido yung dala
Pero sa weird na pagkilos ng politika sa Pilipinas, hindi malayo na may isang event na mangyayari at may isa lang siyang gagawin and will turn things around for him. Parang yung ilang mga kilala rin natin na
Correct. Maaaring ganun. Dahil nga, sabi ko nga, maraming ganyan. Yung mga dating nasa kampo ng mga Duterte, bumabawi, no? And eventually they were able to win over the public opinion again. Baka rin ganyan ang gawin ni Senator Alan, pero again, gusto ko lang ipaalala na medyo siguro madala na tayo sa kanya dahil sa Congress may ganyan din palang ginawa yan, term sharing, di ba? Ayaw bitawan yung speakership. Panahon ni Duterte.
Masaya.
Duterte admin, di ba? So talaga mayroon siyang
May nag-compile ng mga
tendency.
lahat ng mga nakabanggaan niya.
Talaga.
Oo.
Dapat tata may coffee table book na.
Pero paborito ko yung bangayan nila ni Enrile.
Parang.
Yung nagkasingilan pa ng kahoy, umabot pa sa kahoy talaga, no?
Wow.
Alright, last na lang. What
Sige.
would Atom like the younger generations to understand about the Laban sign, the legacy, the meaning?
Yung laban sign na yan, sabi ko nga, nagsimula yan dahil nga kinakampanya ni Chris Aquino yung tatay niya. Hindi naman pwedeng gumanon si Chris habang nag-speech sa, hindi maganda tingnan sa isang bata.
Bakit naman hindi? Mas maganda pagkaliwa.
8 years old kasi si Chris noon, napakabata. Well, yun yung based doon sa kwentuhan ng mga laban slate, no? So they coined, kung di ako nagkakamali, si Senator Soc Rodrigo nakaisip. Kasi lakas ng bayan sila. Nadala yan, mas lalong naging laganap yan nung pinatay si Ninoy. Laban. And then after that, of course, People Power 1986. Talagang, kahit ang buong mundo, may mga foreigner gumaganito nung panahon na yon. So ako gusto ko lang ipaalala sa mga Pilipino na ito, pag sinabing ganito, it represents the heroism of our people. Yung dugong dumadaloy sa mga katawan ninyo ngayon, ang dugo yan ng mga bayani. And every time you see something like this, maalala nyo na meron kayong dugong bayani. Kasi pinabagsak, once upon a time, pinabagsak, hindi lang na simbolo, pero malaki naging inspirasyon itong simbolo na to noong 1986. Kung babalikan nyo yung mga video clips, talagang lahat na halos ng tao nakaganito. Regardless of the color you're wearing, whether red yan, of course yung totoong red ito and the yellow army na tinatawag.
Alright. Maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you, Chief.
President of the August 21 Movement, Volt Bohol. Alright, so an ad copy for a phone company to alienate today's generation. Let your fingers do the talking. But two fingers can convey a galaxy of meanings and emotions. Sometimes you just need only one. For example, an ancient Roman emperor's thumb can prolong or end the life of a gladiator. In 1945, a grateful populace welcomed American GIs with the Victory Joe sign. And with the same two fingers, the hippies made it the international sign of peace. Meanwhile, Winston Churchill's two-digit victory, the victory sign in reverse, assumes a more proctological intent. Extending the index and little fingers forms the sign of the horn, the international salute of the metalhead. And according to heavy metal band frontman Ronnie James Dio, his Italian grandmother used it as a superstitious gesture to ward off the evil eye. And in American Sign Language, the same means, I love you so. So much for satanic symbolisms. And speaking of things diabolic, we know that the devil can cite scripture for his purpose. A Shakespearean line that is now making social media rounds to describe one embattled senator who likes quoting scripture for his purpose. And now he manages to offend yet another demographic. Last June 12, he appropriated what may be the most successful piece of political branding with fingers in Philippine history. It is remarkably efficient. Two fingers raised and instantly recognizable from any distance. Born as a symbol of resistance against dictatorship in the late 70s to early 80s, it carried the weight of protest. But like many revolutionary symbols, however, it eventually acquired the flexibility of a rubber band. It could stretch to accommodate almost anyone. And we mean anyone. Just look at this charming memento of a beaming Jose Maria Sison, just freshly released from prison. L, meaning liberty, or Lenin. Purity of heart, said one philosopher, is to will one thing. But for the senator's recent actuations, the overwhelming sentiment of those who still believe in the spirit of 78, 83, and 86. Just a single finger, preferably one in the middle, will suffice. And that's a Political Beat this Monday, 15th of June. I'm Lourdes Vera. Enjoy the rest of your evening.